The Power Rangers franchise has been waiting for a reboot for a long time, and due to many setbacks and cancellations, this has been a bit difficult for many fans. For now, what we know is that there will supposedly be a new movie in 2026 created by Paramount, and there is a possibility that it will be a new universe aimed for a more mature audience. When trying to start a different path for a different age audience, then the whole style must change, and this includes the costumes. In Power Rangers, the costumes are one of the most important things, as they are part of the essence of the franchise and function as inspiration for all the fans. The Rangers' costumes mean a connection between these characters and all the fans, so creating the right costumes is key for this new project to be successful. One of the worst criticisms that the 2017 movie received were the costumes, as despite being excellent costumes for a superhero, the reality is that they were not suitable for a Power Ranger. Power Ranger costumes should have some very specific details that are what make the Rangers different from other superheroes. These details make them original, and it is for this reason that any fan can know that any character is a Power Ranger despite not having seen that season. We must begin by saying that Power Rangers teams must have a theme, since this will define the complete style of the costume, weapons, helmets, and powers. With the theme, we will be able to identify the style of the costume design, and because the 2017 movie did not have such a defined theme, then the design style they used was pretty generic. It is known that that movie was a Mighty Morphin reboot, and the theme of this team is prehistoric animals, but this was not the style that the costumes reflected. These 2017 costumes look like a 5 alien warrior style, and all 5 costumes were very similar, not much different. This is another important detail, as each Ranger should have some noticeable differences so that fans can choose their favorite, and this creates a connection with the audience. After they have chosen the theme, then they must start choosing the costume materials, and this is one of the most important parts. For 30 years, almost all Power Rangers costumes have been created with the same material, a flexible fabric, and some elements simulated stronger materials, but the main material was spandex. We know that this material allows the actors to have better movement and more flexibility to be able to film all the battles, but the reality is that the superhero does not look powerful with this kind of material. We have always made the comparison with other superheroes whose costumes are created with other materials that make the hero look very powerful, and yet the actors can still film their fight scenes. We know that some of these scenes are computer modified, and some costumes are made or renovated in CGI, but costumes can be made of good materials without relying on digital effects. The best proof of this are the 1995 costumes, spectacular costumes that used a different material that makes the Rangers look very powerful and at the same time as real heroes. The budget of this movie was very little, and supposedly the budget of the new movie is going to be $150 million, so they should make a good investment in the costumes. After they have chosen the theme and the materials, then they should start creating the designs of each costume, and it is that the best option is to create each costume as something different. This does not mean that the costumes are completely different. This means that each costume has things that make it something original and distinguish it from the other costumes. In many teams, they used the helmet for that original detail, as the suits made them all the same, but each Ranger's helmet made it completely different. This has worked for many years, but I think, if they want to do something on another level, then they should make each suit have something different. The most important thing in all of this is the design, because after you have chosen a good theme and the right materials, then the design of each costume is going to be vital. Sometimes the design can be simple, but if it has the right details with the right materials, then the costume is going to look awesome. We don't know yet if they are going to use an old team to create a reboot of that team, or if maybe they are going to create a new team for this new universe. There are many designers who have created spectacular designs using the teams we already know, and this is an example that great designs can be created using the right materials. Carlos is one of my favorite designers, and we have talked about his designs before, but it seems like a good time to show again some of his most spectacular work. This Mighty Morphin Red Ranger costume is proof that with a simple design you can create a spectacular costume by using the right materials. Obviously, Carlos' design is far from simple, but remember that the original idea of the Mighty Morphin team was very simple. Carlos used the original Mighty Morphin design as a starting point and managed to create a new design with more details and better materials. Another of this designer's creations were these Mighty Morphin costumes, and here he gave them a different style. The material he used also looks different, but it still looks like a resistant and powerful material. This design is simpler. It includes only the rhombus on the chest, and the other details were made with the same material of the suit. Another image that Carlos created is this one, a perfect example to understand that just changing the material of the suit creates a very different visual effect. This design is almost the same as the original design of the Red Ranger, it only has some changes, and the material is completely different. Just by changing the material of the suit, the Ranger looks more serious and looks like a superhero for a more mature audience. This style is darker and, for example, could be part of any DC Comics movie. Another designer that we have mentioned and that you all probably already know is Takuya Tokuje. This designer has tried to be more faithful to the original designs and has only added some very important details to the costumes. In addition to this, he has also changed the materials of the costumes, and this has been the most impressive part. These costumes have incredible textures, and possibly this is what the public liked the most. The best example is Zio's suits, since he added a texture to the suits that goes very well with the theme of the series, and this makes the Rangers look very different. Another detail that he added to these suits is that some parts light up, and this may be one of the things in which they have to use the CGI. One of the craziest designs were the Power Rangers turbo suits, as he used a material that looks like metal, and this is because the theme of the series is cars. These costumes may be a bit complicated to create in real life, but this is precisely the challenge that costume designers must have for all these fantasy movies. Let's make a brief comparison between the Red Ranger costume that Carlos created and the Red Ranger costume from the 2017 movie. With this comparison, you can notice that Carlos' design has all the essence of Power Rangers, since that costume looks like a real Ranger, and it is not because the design is based on the original costume, but because it has details more similar to the theme of the series. With the artificial intelligence, we have created some designs ourselves, and because the artificial intelligence uses part of other designs, then these suits have all the essence of the Power Rangers. These costumes look like good materials, they are spectacular designs and would look great for any Power Rangers project aimed at a more mature audience. Write in the comments your opinion about the new costumes, like this video, and subscribe for more information about the Power Rangers reboot.